You sit down to read, determined to finish a chapter, but within minutes, a familiar restlessness sets in. Without a conscious thought, the book is down, and you're already 3 levels deep into a mobile feed, searching for a spark of interest you couldn't find on the page. This chart tracks the average amount of time we can stay focused on a single screen task. In 2004, it was 2.5 minutes. Today, that number has dropped to just 47 seconds. In high schools, this has reached the level of a systemic emergency. 72% of teachers now identify cell phone distraction as a major classroom crisis, leading many schools to physically lock student devices in magnetic pouches just to get through a single hour of instruction. Looking at these numbers, it's easy to assume our brains have been rewired or that our biological capacity to focus has been damaged. But cognitive scientists studying this shift have found that our underlying attention hardware hasn't actually degraded across generations. The paradox is that the brain remains fully capable of deep engagement, yet it is making a clear behavioral choice to look away. We are witnessing a shift in priority, where our focus is being pulled away from the physical world by a force our biology wasn't designed to resist. But neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz discovered a flaw in that theory while recording from the brains of monkeys. He noticed that as a monkey learned a light signal predicted a juice reward, the dopamine spike moved. It no longer fired when the juice was delivered. It fired the moment the light appeared. The most telling moment came when the light flashed, but the juice was withheld. At the exact second the monkey expected the reward, its dopamine levels didn't just stay flat, they plummeted below the normal baseline. This revealed that dopamine functions as a surprise detector, running a biological algorithm called reward prediction error. It calculates the mathematical gap between our expectations and reality. A burst occurs when an outcome exceeds our prediction, while a dip marks a disappointment. Our motivation is determined by this calculation. We are driven not by the reward itself, but by the difference between what we anticipate and what actually happens. Modern social media algorithms are a digital implementation of this surprise signal. They function as variable reward generators, exploiting our sensitivity to the unpredictable. Every new text, notification, or video is a potential positive prediction error. Because we don't know what's coming, each novel discovery triggers a massive dopamine burst that biologically reinforces the habit of scrolling, teaching the brain that the screen is the most valuable signal in our environment. This leads to an unconscious mental weighing of our options. Our sense of boredom acts as a signal that our current task is failing to provide value compared to a more stimulating available alternative. Because a smartphone offers a constant stream of instant, unpredictable hits, normal tasks that require patience start to feel like a loss. Compared to the rapid-fire dopamine of an algorithm, the slower pace of analog life generates an immediate negative prediction error, making work or reading feel physically unbearable. The physical world hasn't become more boring over the last 20 years. It simply cannot compete with an artificial baseline of endless surprises that resides in our pockets. Living in this constant state of digital novelty pushes us into a dopamine deficit state. When our brain's baseline expectation is calibrated to the high-intensity surprises of an algorithm, normal reality begins to register as a continuous stream of disappointment. This explains the extreme push to remove phones from classrooms. It is an attempt to physically alter the environment, removing the high dopamine alternative so the brain can stop comparing a lesson to a slot machine. Reversing this effect requires a period of dopamine fasting, stepping away from digital rewards long enough to let our biological pathways reset. By removing the drug of choice, we allow our internal expectations to gradually lower. Stripping away digital distraction forces the brain to adapt to a reality where rewards are modest and predictable. Over time, this allows us to find satisfaction in analog experiences again, as the brain stops expecting a constant flood of artificial surprises. Reclaiming our focus isn't about finding more willpower, it's about environmental design. We have to actively starve the algorithm of its surprises before our brains will choose to participate in the real world again.